Welcome to the session. This is Full Wave Rectifiers Part 2. In previous session, we have seen the derivation for peak inverse voltage, peak current, output voltage, rectifier efficiency and RMS value. Now remaining few terms we will derive now, and after that we will move to the understanding of the rectifiers again if using some diagrams and animations. Form factor is defined by RMS value by average value of current. So let's see what is there in this. So we have to see form factor. This is form factor. In few books it will be given as say FF or KF. So form factor is defined by RMS value of current divided by average value of current. This average value is nothing but the DC value. At output, we check how much is the average. That average is nothing but the DC. So this I average is nothing but IDC at the output waveform. Right, so we'll write down the expression already derived for RMS value and average value. So this is equal to IRMS divided by IDC. IRMS is I max by root 2 and IDC is 2 I max by pi. So this one will be equal to pi by 2 root 2. If we solve this expression, we will get 1.11. This will be the form factor. Value of form factor, you have to remember 1.11. This form factor. Similarly, we can find out the peak factor. In the same section, we can see the peak factor. Peak factor is defined by the peak current divided by RMS value. Peak current is I max and RMS of current is I RMS. So this particular peak factor will be given by I max by I RMS. So I max is as it is, IRMS we have derived. So what is IRMS? IRMS is I max by root 2, this value. So if we solve this, we will get root 2. So this is peak factor. Next we have to see output frequency. What will be the output frequency? Output frequency for half wave rectifier, it is same as the input. What will be the output frequency for full wave? Here you can see in the waveform. At input we have some frequency f. So for this one particular cycle, in one cycle we have one positive and one negative part from 0 to 2 pi. 0 to 2 pi, what is happening here? 0 to 2 pi, the frequency is doubled here. We are getting double signals. We are getting double output. So if input frequency is F, output frequency will be 2F, double of input frequency. So output frequency for F out will be double of F in. It will be double to the input frequency. Now we will see next important parameter. It is called as rectifier efficiency. We have to see the efficiency of full wave rectifier. Earlier we have seen the efficiency of half wave rectifier. Efficiency means how efficiently this particular device works. So it is called as rectification efficiency. We will see rectification. Do you remember what was the value of half wave rectifier efficiency? For half wave rectifier efficiency was denoted by eta. The efficiency for half wave rectifier was around 40.1%. So it was, half wave rectifier was half efficient. Now what should be the full wave rectifier efficiency? It should be double than half wave rectifier. It should be above the 80%. So let us see mathematically. This particular efficiency is defined as the output by input. How much output power we are getting over input. Output is DC power, DC output power, and input is AC, that is PAC. So let us calculate this. For calculating power we have simple formula I square R. So if we calculate PDC will be equal to I square R. So what is I square R? I is output DC, I square DC into RL. This will be the PDC. IDC we have calculated. If we keep the value of IDC, we will get 2 by pi I max whole square into RL. If we take square of this term, we can write it as 4 by pi square I square max RL. This is output DC. Now if we calculate the input AC, how much input AC power is there? It will also have same formula I square R. But what will be I square in this case? In this case I square is RMS, root means square of input. And what will be the R? Here R will consider RL plus the diode resistance RF, which is not shown in the circuit diagram. It is considered as the internal resistance of the diode. So this will be IRMS. We have calculated. If we simplify this, we will get I square RMS by 2 into RL plus RF. So the overall eta will be equal to PDC by PAC. It will be equal to 4 upon pi square I max square RL divided by 1 upon 2 I max square RL plus RF. If we further simplify it, we will get 8 by pi square into 1 upon 1 plus RF by RL. It will be equal to 0.812 by 1 plus RF by RL. Now if RL is too larger than RF, then we can neglect this term. If we neglect this term, the efficiency will be 0.812. and percentage efficiency will be equal to 81.2%. That means full wave rectifier's efficiency is double than the half wave rectifier. Now today's last parameter we will see. The last parameter is related to ripple factor. Ripples are the error, how many ripples, AC ripples are present in the last parameter we will see is about ripple factor. Ripple factor is how many ripples or how much AC is present at the output. This is undesired parameter. We don't want AC component in our DC output. This ripple factor is defined as I RMS by I average or IDC. So we have both the values. I RMS we have calculated as I max by root 2 and average value is 2 I max by pi. If we simplify this, we will get pi by 2 root 2. This value will come to 1.11. This will be the ripple factor. So this value also we have to remember. If you remember, the form factor was also 1.11 and the ripple factor is also 1.11. Now we have seen the derivation. You are all advised to practice the derivations. These may be required in the numericals also, and there may be some theory questions to answer the rectifier and its equations also. So in today's session we have seen form factor, peak factor, output frequency and ripple factor. Now let us continue with the theory part of the rectifiers. So far we have discussed a full wave rectifier which had two diodes, and the output waveforms are like this. We get continuous full waves, continuously one after one. Now we will discuss about the bridge rectifier. As the name suggests, it have an arrangement where diodes are connected in the form of bridge. In bridge rectifier, we use 4 diodes. Let us now discuss about bridge rectifier and we will compare it with the earlier center tap rectifier. So both of them we can remember properly for the examination. The basic idea behind the bridge rectifier is like this. We use 4 diodes. The input is AC, the main supply we get, and that is fed to the transformer, and secondary of transformer is connected to 4 diodes. And here we can see that load resistance is connected across these 4 diodes, and the output is something like this. The output of center tap and bridge rectifier is same. So in general the AC input signal changes because there are alternating signals, so one positive, one negative cycle. In positive cycle, this polarity is shown with the red line, and in negative cycle this polarity changes. There is continuous change in the polarities, and this same concept is used for the functioning of rectification. Output we get same. In center tap the output was due to one on diode. In this 2 diodes will be on at a time. So let us see. This is basic structure. We can see at the input we can calculate the voltage, AC input voltage. That is our source, and that is connected to primary of transformer. Here we can see alternate connection method where center tap is used. Earlier in center tap method we had connected 2 diodes. Here we are having 2 diodes. Here output you can check. Output is output will have dual polarity. The first one, now you can see that here we have partitions and diodes are connected in opposite direction. This top diode is going towards right, the bottom one is going towards left. Similar assembly is shown here. So for upper half part, here it is connected to this meter. You can see the output waveforms are towards the positive, but at the bottom side the polarity changes, it reverses to the negative side. So by using various methods and various diagrams and animations, we will try to understand the rectifier in such a way that we will be able to remember it for longer time. So now this one is the rectifier bridge circuit. In bridge circuit we have 4 diodes. Now in center tab the current was divided between 2 diodes and the voltage was divided into 2 parts. Here voltage is divided across these 2 points only. Okay, and output we are calculating at the load resistance. So this is the expected output, this is our input. Now you will see how it works. So for the first positive cycle, when input is positive, then what happens, say this top part becomes positive and bottom part becomes negative. So from positive it starts. What will be the flow of the direction of flow of current? Say it gets generated at negative terminal and they move towards the positive terminal, when the conventional flow of direction is from positive to negative. So if we consider conventional direction of current, then from positive to negative it will go first from this particular diode. When current reaches at this particular point, it have 2 paths to travel, one towards this diode, another one towards this diode. When it goes towards this diode, so this diode will become forward bias, and forward bias means it will be on. If current goes this side, the diode is in reverse bias condition. Here you can see the bar, so it is going towards the N type, so this will become reverse bias, so it will be off. So from this diode our input signal will go to the output, but it is not the only one path. It will circulate across, it will again come back to this point, and from this point this diode will also be on. So there will be 2 diodes on and 2 diodes off. So output waveform will get due to these 2 diodes. Now in second polarity, second half cycle, what will happen? Second half cycle, this top one will become minus, the bottom one will become plus, right? But what is the drawback here? For full wave bridge rectifier we are using 4 diodes. Out of the 4 diodes, 2 diodes are on. So whatever is our input voltage, that will not go to the output completely. There will be loss at the diode, because diode have some internal barrier potential. That particular potential must be crossed, must be overcome by the input voltage, and then only it can start the conduction. So the barrier potential of silicon is 0.7. So if 2 diodes are on at one time, that means total 1.4 volt is required just to overcome the barrier potential. So that much voltage will be lost here itself, it will not go to the output. So that is one drawback here. Here we can see then when we have a rectifier bridge circuit, same circuit we can draw alternatively. If we want to remember the circuit in simple way, we can have this alternate circuit. The circuit must have the same meaning. The flow of currents and all should be same. Otherwise we can draw them as per our convenience. So here in this diagram 4 diodes are connected like this and load is given here. This will also have the same meaning like the earlier diagram which was shown for the bridge rectifier. Now let us see with this animation, we'll compare the full wave rectifier and the center tap and the bridge rectifier. So from positive we start the current. So for first positive cycle, when the upper part is positive, so what will happen, this dot is showing say flow of current. So when for first cycle, this will start from here, it will D1 will be on, and then it will go to from this particular path. Here D2 will be off. This path for first positive, when positive is at top, this current will not take path from the D2. D2 will be off, right? So then when we change the polarity, now negative is at the top, so from positive this will flow. Now what will happen in this case, D2 will be on and D1 will be off, it will not go to the D1. In similar way, we can compare it with the bridge rectifier. For bridge rectifier, we have this circuit. In this circuit, for first positive half cycle, it will go from the positive. It will start from the positive. It will go from D1, resistor, and D2. You check it again. You check the follow. You follow the path of current. Who will be the on? Once it reach this particular point, it have the path. It can go to D1 and D4. But D4 will become reverse bias, so it will be off. It will go across D1, then this R, and then this D2. Then it will complete the path. So when suppose this top one is positive and bottom one is negative, D1 and D2 are on. D4 and D3 will be off, right? So and when the polarity will change, who should be on now? The another two. So when it reaches this point, it has two paths to go, from D3 or D2. But if this particular current want to go across D2, it cannot go in opposite direction. It will become reverse bias. So it will go from the D3, then resistor, then D4, and then back. So like this, in second negative half cycle, we have D3 and D4 on. We'll get output due to D3 and D4. This is the simple structure. Now let us see the comparison between different type of rectifiers. We have seen there three types of rectifier. One is half wave rectifier, and in full wave rectifier we have seen two types. One is center tap and another one is bridge. So first difference we'll discuss about peak inverse voltage. Peak inverse voltage of the diode is the peak value of voltage that the diode can withstand in reverse bias condition. So for half wave, it is Vs or Vmax or Vm, that is the maximum value of voltage. For full wave center tap, it will be double because the voltage will have two parts due to the center tap. It will be double, 2 Vs, and V gamma is the barrier potential, internal inbuilt voltage of diode. For silicon it is 0.7, for germanium it is 0.3. For full wave bridge rectifier, it will be Vs, because like center tap, it doesn't have two different parts where voltage gets divided. It has the same. This is the one difference. Then next, we'll compare all these three. For half wave, we have one diode. Center tap, we use two diodes. In bridge type, we use 4 diodes. Transformer is necessary for center tap. For half wave and bridge, we can manage without that also. Maximum efficiency in half wave we have derived, it is around 40.6. For full wave rectifier, center tap and bridge, it is double, 81.2. Ripple factor for half wave is 1.21. For center tap it is 0.48. Bridge 0.48. Output frequency for half wave is same as input. Fin is input. For center tap, it is double than the input. For bridge also same output is there. So output for center tap and bridge is same. Here for bridge we are providing additional diodes. 4 diodes we are providing. It is increasing the cost, but it is also providing more security. If one diode is damaged, another diode can manage to give the output. And peak inverse voltage, just now we discussed, for half wave it is Vm. For center tap only it is 2 Vm. For bridge again it is Vm. This we have to remember in example if it is asked about center tap or bridge. Now let us discuss about the diagram wise differences. So rectifier we are divided into half wave and full wave. Half wave rectifier is like this, single diode. Here we can introduce filter as capacitor. Already about filter in half wave we have discussed, and again in next session we are going to discuss about other types of filters. In full wave rectifier you have to draw diagrams like this. This is center tap full wave rectifier and this is bridge rectifier. So in today's assignment you have to draw all those three diagrams along with this table, and you have to upload it because this is very important diagram. So all these three, out of these three there will be something in examination. So you have to practice this particular diagram. Then applications. First we know we use in the DC power supply. Wherever DC power supply is required, we have to use rectifier, like mobile phone or any other electronic gadget. Other applications are in radios. It is used to rectify the received radio signal. In communication there will be modulation and demodulations. AM stands for amplitude modulation. That we will see at appropriate time, but it is used in the communication. The diode is used for the detection. And apart from that, we have previously discussed the application of light dimmer, where we can change the intensity of light, and it is also used in the alternators in the automobile. So these are few applications of the diode. So in next session we will check about the filters, and we will also see the special diodes. What are the special diodes, what are the filters, and we will also discuss the CROs. Till then, have a good day.